will show you some technical things related to the denial of service. Here I have opened the Kali Linux and Windows XP operating system, Windows 7 operating system. Here, the one who have not set up their own virtual lab may view the quick virtual lab setup video and can set up their own virtual lab. Here this is the Windows 7 operating system. Now let us go for checking of the IP address, IP config. So this is 192.168.1.4 and Windows XP operating system. In this IP config. So this is 192.168.1.5. So from Kali Linux, you may ping it, ping 192.168.1.5. So you are not getting response from the Windows XP, and 1.4. Here you are not getting response from the Windows. The reason for this is here the firewall is on both the Windows XP and Windows 7. So if you look at in the control panel, you can go to the control panel. There you can find out the firewall. So in the Windows firewall here, the firewall is on. Okay. So since the firewall is on, it is not allowing any ping request. So if the firewall is off, then it will allow you to view the ping request. So now you look at here, you got the reply from the 19.168.1.4. Okay, and please remember, whenever you get the reply like this, that means here the firewall is off here. But if you turn on the firewall, you will not get any reply like this. So the reply was stopped. The reply was stopped now. The reason is the firewall is on. So the reason, always enable the firewall whenever you are working on the computer. In the firewall setting also, you will be having allowing of the request from the local network and also from the public network. You can turn on this local network and you can do the practice. And public network means from the outside of your local network. These are the two ways you can do it to know the information. Next one is in the ping itself. With the ping itself, you will come to know what is the operating system that is on the target computer. How? You can get it via TTL. If the TTL is greater than 127, then the responding system is a Windows-based system. If the TTL is less than 127, then the responding system is a Linux-based computer. Where in case of if the TTL is greater than 255, then the responding system is a Cisco router. Okay? This is the thing that you are supposed to observe just by looking at the ping itself. Now, since there is no way of pinging the thing, since the firewall is on, so the pinging is not happening. So what I can do is I may go for nmap scan. So sudo nmap -ss, which is called stealth scan, to may perform this. Since the firewall is on, you will get the information like this here. 80 TCP, this is the open port, and 135 is also open port, and 5357 is also open port. Since the firewall is on, you will get the information like this. But the pinging cannot be done. So in order to allow this ping in the sense ICMP echo request. Whenever the ICMP echo request is received, then ICMP echo reply uh, should be provided by the responder. So in order to do that, you may also go to the to enable this, allow a program or feature through this firewall, Windows firewall. You can click this, and you can select the ICMP echo request or reply here. But here there is no ICMP provided as a default service to enable it or disable it. So that reason you can go back and you can go to the uh, advanced settings, in which you will find the inbound rules and outbound rules. You can double click on the inbound rule, and you can write your own new rule. Click the new rule here. Click on new rule. So here program rule means which application you are supposed to allow. Port rule means which port you are supposed to allow. Predefined rule means here some predefined rules are there: HTTP related rules, SNMP related rules, and wireless portable devices related rules. And here the custom rule means you can devise your own rule like this. So if you want to devise your own rule now, which is apart from the rules that are mentioned here, that means I want to enable the rules such as ICMP echo request or ICMP echo reply. Then go to the all programs, then click next. Here protocol type, here I want to choose the ICMP v4 protocol. Next. So this ICMP v4 protocol, do you want to receive this request from local IP address? Does it rule apply to any IP address? Which remote IP address does the rule apply to any IP address? Next, allow the connection. Next, domain, private, public, in any of the case, this rule will apply. Next, rule name is ICMP echo. Finish. So this rule will be enabled now. Whenever this rule is enabled, and if you try to ping 19.168.1.4, so you will get the reply from the target system. So that means which port you are supposed to guard and which port you are supposed to defend. Everything is depending on the firewall rule setting or the security systems that you use on the target computer or on your local computer. So here is the launching of denial of service using Metasploit. In this, we are going to launch the denial of service attack by synchronous flooding via Metasploit framework. So in order to do this, first of all, open the Metasploit framework in the Kali Linux in the root mode. That means the super user privileges are required. Otherwise, this synchronous flooding cannot be done. And you may also go for intensive scan with the help of Nmap T4-A-V and the target IP address. Then list the TCP ports that you want to target. Then you can go to the MSF console, which is called Metasploit Framework console, and use the auxiliary/DOS/TCP/synchronous flood and set the options such as remote host, remote port, and the source host and timeout. Sometimes you are supposed to set the interface also. That interface may be, because your Kali Linux may be consisting of 2 or 3 interfaces, from which interface you want to flood these synchronous signals. That also you are supposed to mention. So here the interface is set interface Ethernet 1 or Ethernet 2 or Ethernet 0 that you are supposed to set depending upon the number of Ethernets that are connected to the Kali Linux. Then once all the parameters are set, then you need to fire the command exploit. Then the synchronous threading will be happening. Now we are supposed to move on to the Windows 7, and there we need to open the Windom, and you can observe the task manager there. The CPU utilization may go up to 30% or 40% with this synchronous threading. Now we'll see how this synchronous threading can be done practically. We'll open the MSF console, Metasploit framework console. Metasploit framework console to be opened with the root privileges. Sudo MSF console. Whenever it is opened with the root privileges, it has the access to all the features such as packet capturing, sniffing, etc. So that is, for that purpose, we are supposed to open the MSF console with the root privileges. So now the MSF console is open. Now we are supposed to use auxiliary /dos /tcp /syn flood. So in this show options, we need to set some options. Show options. So here remote host to be set as target host 19.168.1.4, and since 80 is the port open, I'm setting to 80 as a remote host to be set as 190.168.1.4, and remote port should be set as 80 R port, and set the timeout source host, that is your port, that is targeting attacker port. You are supposed to set the S host, that is source host, as the local host, or the IP address of the is 19.168.1.33. Set a timeout as 20,000. We'll change the Ethernet interface ETH1 deployed. Is going on here. You look at here, the CPU usage is going up to 40% and coming down. Second one is flooding using HPing3. Already in the previous lectures we have seen this flooding of the things using HPing3. So HPing3 target IP -- flood. It will start the flooding attack. Or if you want to especially launch the synchronous flood, then you may use this HPing3 -1 is the switch that you are supposed to use for conducting the TCP based attack. -P is for the port number. Here we are going to target the HTTP service. -S is the synchronous flooding on the target IP address 19.168.1.4. The same thing you can also do with the ICMP flood. The ICMP flooding will be done with this particular command. Next one is ping of death. This ping of death will be useful only on the Windows operating system. You cannot do with the Kali Linux operating system. Usually many of the modern operating systems, modern Windows operating systems like Windows 7 and Windows 10 are capable of avoiding this ping of death attack. So that is the reason, even though you run this command on the latest operating systems, this will not work. It will work on the older operating systems like that is Windows 97 and Windows 8 operating systems. So there are some other tools. There exist many tools available. DOS and to conduct the denial of service and distribute denial of service attack. So here are some tools which are very popular, like Pandora distributed denial of service bot toolkit, HTTP minimum, HTTP download, HTTP combo, Socket Connect, Max Plug. These are the features in this bot toolkit. And other DOS attack tools, distributed DOS attack tools are derail, HOIC, DOS HTTP, and Bangladesh. These are the very famous tools. And tools for Android, L and DOSIT. DOSIT. So this is what the Android-based tool. And a low orbit icon Canon that you can also get a desktop version of it also. LOIC is a very popular and it has grabbed huge attention by the attackers to launch the Zenlab service attack. This will work on the Windows platform. You can download it from the GitHub. Anyhow, I have provided the link in the description section. You may also download from that. You can run it on the Windows 7 operating system. Now we'll see how this LOIC can be used to launch the DOS attack. And I'm making the target system as the Windows XP system. So here Windows 7 system is on 19.168.1.4 and XP is a computer. XP operating system is running on 19.168.1.5. So you can, it is a very small tool. You can download. There is no setup is also required. Just only the executable file which is available in that. Just you run this executable file. This is LOIC 2.0.04 -1. So in this only small executable file will be available. This executable file you are supposed to run it. So I am running this LOIC low orbit ion Canon. This is the name of this LOIC means. So this is actually this has become very popular because it will create multiple threads, and each thread will launch a Dynalog service. Especially the synchronous flooding will be done. So that is the reason this particular tool has become very famous. So run this tool. So this is a very simple tool. Now I'm going to place the target IP. So either you may place URL or either you may place the IP. So since I am working in the LAN, that is virtual LAN here, so I am using the Windows XP operating system's IP address 192.168.1.5, and you click on lock on. So this particular IP address will be locked. Once it is locked, you are supposed to choose the message that you are supposed to send, TCP or UDP message, whatever the message you want, you can send. Next is HTTP subsite. So since I am not choosing any URL here, so no need of HTTP site. So I am going to use TCP synchronous flooding on port 80. This is the open port that we have found in the via Nmap scanning. So here threads, since I'm using the virtual environment, I'm dedicated only one CPU for this. 10 threads are sufficient. So that means one thread will send huge number of synchronous signals. At the same time, 10 threads parallelly will send this certain number of synchronous signals to the target IP address. Next one is 9001, which is the timeout. So now you can launch this by clicking this particular ready here. Just you click on this button, the synchronous flooding will start. Before synchronous flooding starts, that will go for command, and that will check whether we are going to ping the or we are going to communicate with the target or not. 19.168.1.5. So I'm not able to communicate with the target. The reason is there may be firewall on. That will turn off the firewall in the Windows XP operating system, and we'll see whether we are in a position to communicate it or not, because we have not written any inbound rule or outbound rule. So that is the reason the firewall is blocking all the incoming requests. So that is the reason I have turned off the firewall to show this particular attack. So now the communication is going on between the Windows 7 and Windows XP. So on Windows 7, now what we are supposed to do is here also WinDump is there. I have placed the WinDump here. Now we'll run the WinDump here. So here is the WinDump. So run this WinDump. So this WinDump, what it will do is it will listen to the network interface and will identify all the packets. And at the same time, you also open the task manager, task MGR, task manager. Now you look at here, currently the CPU usage is 8%, 18% like that, 2%. So now what I will do is I will start the attack from the Windows 7. So let us start the attack and we'll see. So this is the place where you will find the how the attack is going on and what is the status of the attack, how many synchronous signals was requested, and how many you got reply. So this kind of information, statistical information, you will find in this attack status once you start the attack. Now I'm starting the attack. So here the number of synchronous requests are, you get here how many keep on going. Now we'll see here. So in Windows XP you can find now the CPU usage is 100%. You look at here. So the CPU usage is too much. That is 100%. That means the CPU is fully overloaded. So that is the reason this CPU, if you request anything, this CPU cannot give you any reply. So that means the CPU is completely busy in responding to this synchronous flooding. So thereby it cannot respond to genuine requests. So this is leading into the denial of service attack. So this is what the beautiful example that we can simulate or we can run on our own with this particular tool. Still, you get 32,000 requests are going on. How long the synchronous flooding attack will go on up to 9,000 seconds. So this is what the LOIC tool, which is most popular tool and a small and simple tool that can be used for launching the denial of service attack. Finally, we'll move on to the denial of service defensive strategies, or we can also say these are the countermeasures because prevention is better than cure. So that is the reason we need to maintain some defensive strategies to not to launch this denial of service. In all our experimentations and practical implementations of the implementation of the denial of service, we found that enabling of the firewall is one thing that will predict and pretend the DOS attacks and can stop this DOS or synchronous flooding. Here we'll see some more aspects that we can do at our level. So to stop the DOS attacks, first one is disabling the unnecessary services. So there may be unnecessary applications and services that are running on a computer. So open the task manager and list the services that I have not used from long time and disable those services if it is not required. Because those services are especially will be detected by the scanning by the attacker. So once those services are detected, then they may use those services for launching the attack. So that reason, disable the unnecessary services, only enable the services that are required for public and also to the local users in the organization. Next one is using anti-malware. Always enable the real-time protection provided by the operating system. Also update them regularly. The reason is, as I told you, the Microsoft Defender or Microsoft Security Essentials in Windows 7, those are the very powerful tools, powerful real-time protection tools that should be enabled and should be updated regularly, because these tools will easily detect this kind of synchronous flooding and other flooding attacks, either UDP echo requests and ICMP echo requests. Such kind of attacks can be easily identified by these anti-malware. Next one is enable router throttling. That means it will be this enabling of the router throttling will give the will provide a time buffer for network administrator to respond if traffic saturation is observed. That means it will, if the traffic saturation at the router level, because the denial of service attack may also be conducted or may be performed by considering the network devices in the line towards the target, that is between the source and destination. The attacker may choose any one of the network device or maybe use it as the intermediary device for launching the denial of service attack. So in which a router is also a network device that can be used. So if you enable the router throttling, then it will provide time buffer to the network administrator to respond, and this will be observed by the network administrator that there is a congestion increasing at the router level. That is, especially the traffic saturation is going to be happened at the router level. This will be intimated to the network administrator, and network administrator can also monitor from their end how much traffic is going from which router, and they can monitor from their location only. And if they observe uh, any abnormal traffic movement from those routers, then immediately the administrator can attend and may down the router, or may do some resettings or etc. And he may reinstall or reinitialize. Next one is using a reverse proxy. Here actually the forward proxy and reverse proxy. Forward proxy means there will be a proxy server that will take the request and will forward to the original server. Where in case of reverse proxy means it is opposite the forward proxy. In this, the traffic is diverted to a middle server instead of the original server. At the middle server, there will be a intrusion detection system or maybe any other network monitoring system will be available that will take care of the heavy traffic. If you find that some heavy traffic is of no use, which is simply a bogus kind of traffic, then it will drop there itself. So this is called reverse proxy mechanism. Next one is enabling ingress and egress filtering. This filtering will be done at the firewall level. So in this firewall, actually this ingress filtering protects the DNLOP service from the DNLOP service via incoming traffic. Where in case of ingress filtering protects protects from the DNLOP service via outgoing traffic. Because for example, if a computer becomes the victim computer, that is, or if a computer becomes a compromised computer and it is under the control of the attacker, if the firewall was set with the egress computing, then traffic may not pass out of this particular compromised computer because of the firewall rules set in that compromised system. So this ingress filtering protects from DNLOP service via incoming traffic, and whereas ingress filtering protects from the DNLOP service via outgoing traffic. Next one is the degrading services, enabling the automatic throttling or shutdown of services in the event of attack. That means the intrusion detection system or security system that are available on the target computer, if it identifies this, if it identifies that some attack is going to happen, which is leading into DNLOP service, automatically the system will be shut down or the services will be shut down automatically in the event of the attack. This is one approach. Next one is absorbing the attacks. Absorbing the attacks in the sense, let it be how many DOS attacks may be conducted, will supply with some additional powers, because it is especially the DOS attack mainly focus on the consuming the resources. So that is the reason let will put some extra power or extra services or extra bandwidth or some load balancing mechanisms, so that even though DOS attack were performed, the systems can be in a position to survive. This is with respect to the simple denial of service attacks, where in case of distributed denial of service, the botnets has been used. So how this particular botnet specific defenses can be done? So first one is the request for comment, RFC 3704 filtering. This will be done at the ISP level. This is not done at the organization level, but the one who are providing the internet service, they will provide this particular RFC 3704 filtering, in which the IP of the attacker system or IP of the traffic from where the flooding is originated will be blocked. So this will be done at the internet service provider level before reaching the actual network. That is, it may be an organization network. In this, blocking of attacker IP will happen. Next one is black hole filtering. Black hole is a concept that means it will attract everything and will finally drops the traffic. So create a black hole such that attacker traffic is captured and dropped. So once the packets are captured and dropped, so nothing to be processed by the CPU. Next one is source IP reputation filtering. Here, reputation mechanism is going to be used. Reputation in the sense how how a particular target, how a particular uh, traffic sender can be trusted. It is based upon the good communications that he made from previously, based upon the past history. This reputation will be built up. Based upon the reputation, the device will allow whether to accept the traffic or to reject the traffic. So reputation is determined by past history of the attacks and other traffic factors. Cisco routers provides this feature for their network devices. Cisco, especially the routers and other networking components provided by Cisco, will provide this kind of feature. So this is for the botnet specific defenses. So finally, to summarize this denial of service, the aim of both denial of service and distributed denial of service is to disturb the availability of the services. DOS can focus on flooding bogus traffic, whereas distributed denial of service can focus on launching denial of services attack via botnets or compromised jombines. Denial of service attack can be performed at various levels of the protocol stack, starting from the physical level to the application level. Permanent DOS is targeted to fail the device hardware, which is the physical level attack. Buffer overflow is an application level attack that will be launched with the help of or by observing the flaws in the application program. So EIP is actually a register that will keep track of the execution point of the stack. It will be shifted when overflow occurs. So because of this problem, because of this feature, this overflow, that is unboundless functions or boundless input functions that are used by the application may suffer, and thereby this EIP point of execution or EIP register will go beyond the stack and may run into the heap level. So that is the reason you be cautious while using the boundless C functions or any other boundless function. So the best remedy of this is use exception handling and use asset statements, and always perform the boundary testing while performing the testing of your application. And in this buffer flow attacks, the most thing is either by corrupting the return address, uh, DOS attack will be launched by corrupting the return address, or by executing or by copying the no operation code into the memory, so that CPU will read that no operation code and will follow that particular instruction. NOP, no operation, in hexadecimal it is 0x90. Instruction equates to a full CPU cycle with no actual work being accomplished. That means without doing any work, the CPU simply passes the time whenever this operation was loaded into the memory by malicious code because of the boundless functions that are used in the application. And further, we have seen the implementation of the denial of service, especially synchronous flooding, with the help of Metasploit, and also with the help of HPing3, and with the tool called LOIC, Low Orbit Ion Cannon, in this particular denial of service lecture. We'll meet with some other topic in the next video.